I am tired of social media cops, and I'm tired of special forces guys gaslighting people. That's what you're doing. Looking at that situation that happened with that group and how that was handled, if you can look at the body cam footage or just the circumstances around it. I was telling my wife this. They put out a statement and they were like, you know, he's the shipping manager. He took this firearm and he was supposed to ship it, and it was gone for 22 days, and we didn't have a tracking number, and we didn't know where it was. And he was the last person seen with it, and so we had to call the cops. And I said, the fact that you don't have a system for shipping and receiving to where you know if a package was dropped off or not is a you issue. And I can guarantee you that if you didn't have that system then, I guarantee you have it now. Hey, when you take the packages from us, you are going to sign this sheet that says you took 8 packages. And when you go to UPS and you drop them off, I'm expecting you to return with
8 shipping receipts.
8 shipping receipts. Jesus Christ, I'm
a maker, and I have proof of every bag.
We should start a company. Yeah, so you're going to sign out that you have 8 boxes, and then you're going to take it to UPS, and you're going to come back with 8 shipping receipts. And then if you come back and you only have 7, before you go home that night, guess what we're going to do? We're going to find out where that box is. Oh, then we don't have to wait 22 days. Oh, and by the way, if for some reason something gets lost, I'm going to pull you in the office and ask you about it. I'm going to do a little investigation before I call the ATF and the police. I was in the Air Force, guys. I'm going to date myself. Back in the 90s, when I was in the Air Force, when I would go to work every single day, and I wasn't a Navy SEAL, sorry. I wasn't good enough to be a Navy SEAL, so please, bear with me, okay? I was a lowly airman. I worked on an aircraft. I was just a knuckle dragger. I wasn't as cool as you guys. When I would go to work every morning, they had a key ring. And on that key ring, there was 10 little pieces of metal. We called them chits, CHITS. And those chits had a number, and that number was associated with me. Like if they went and looked in this book, it said 397. That's Damien's, right? So when I would get to work, they would have this key ring with the chits, and they would put it on a board. And on the board, the number 397 was behind it. So when you moved the key ring, 397 was there, and it showed that my 10 chits were gone. Now, every piece of equipment that I checked out, I had to take off one of these little key chits and give it to the guy behind the counter. So if I got a wrench, he would take the wrench and he would put my little 397 there and he would give me the wrench. And then when I would come back at the end of the day, I would give the 10 pieces of equipment back to the equipment guy, and he would take those 10 pieces of metal called chits and he'd put them back on my key ring, and I put my key ring back on the number 397. And that's how in the Air Force we knew that everything was accounted for. Maybe I'm just spitballing here. When you have a package and you give it to Jamal has a little thing that he hands you and says, you gave me 1 package. Maybe you could do like little beans or something. And if you give him 2 packages, he could give you 2 beans. And then when he comes back and he gives you 2 shipping receipts, you give him the beans back. Now, again, I'm just a lowly Air Force guy. Fuck do I know. Or maybe you do things the way that you do when you have everybody calling you racist.